Hello, today we're going to be talking about classification and how we classify organisms, plants, animals, bacteria, fungus, all kinds of stuff, okay? So we're looking at classification. Right, the reason we have classification is to group organisms based on similarities, okay? The reason we do it is it allows us to study relationships between the species. So like how did this species here evolve from this one? How did they evolve from a common ancestor? How do they relate to one another in different ecosystems? That type of stuff, all right? And it also helps to assign names, like universal names, to organisms. All right, so things we look at structural similarities, ability and potential to mate, geographic distribution, chromosome sequences like DNA and DNA sequences, and also evolutionary relationships to the fossil records, looking at previous or shared ancestors. The two new ones are obviously chromosomes and DNA sequence, as we know more about DNA and stuff, and also as we put together more genomes of different organisms. This is something you do need to remember, okay? But the 7 levels of classification from largest, like includes more organisms, to the smallest, includes fewer organisms. And the way I remember it is something silly, but I remember King Philip came over for great spaghetti. All right, and it puts me in order. So I get kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. King Philip came over for great spaghetti. Sounds really just cheesy and corny, but it's something I've always remembered since I was in high school, used it in college. And it just helped me remember the order they go in, because you do need to know the order they go in, okay? And this sort of shows you what that means. Like the largest, like kingdom animals, they includes all the animals. This is just a small sampling. Chordata, which means they have spinal cords. Mammalia, mammals. Carnivoria, means they're carnivores. Ursidae, which means it's a type of bear. Ursus is like the style bear, the grizzly bear, and polar bears are actually very similar. And Ursus arctos, Arctic bear, right? So that's the largest and that's the smallest. So kingdoms, phylums, class, order, family, genus, species. King Philip came over for great spaghetti. All right, next we're looking at this taxonomy. Taxonomy is actually the science of naming organisms. It sounds weird, but it is what it is. Aristotle was the first to classify organisms into 2 groups, plants and animals. Right? Again, Aristotle's a long time ago. He was the first to do it. Today it's this common knowledge type of stuff, right? But we use it to name organisms. And Carolus Linnaeus is the person we use still to this day. And you can tell he's an old guy, right, from a long time ago. But we still use his style, and it's called binomial nomenclature. 2 names is how we look at it. We look at the genus and the species, and that gives us the exact individual organism. So binomial nomenclature gives us a universal way of naming. So each name consists of 2 words, the genus and species, like I mentioned before. The first word is always capitalized, and the second is always lowercase. Right? If you're typing it, they're both in italics. If you're writing it, you underline them. Right? So like they looked at earlier, the Ursus arctos, the scientific name for the polar bear. So genus and species. Common name is polar bear. All right. A couple of other examples. The Acer rebrum. Acer is red. Rebrum is maple. Acer is a type of maple tree, and rebrum is red. So the red maple. All right. But that's all we're looking at today. Just so focus on knowing these. All right. Just the order of them. King Philip came over for great spaghetti. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And also how we name things. And how we name them is we look at the genus and the species, and that gives us the individual species we're looking at. Hope this is helpful, and I'll talk to you guys soon.